All right, guys. Dr. Sharnael Wolverton-Sehon. How is everybody here tonight, this Thursday? Let me get set up here. How's everybody going? I'm Swiftfire. Tonight we are so blessed because we have Julie Kinne on with us. And we're going to be talking about using social media to influence your world and to help you and whatever it is you're doing, whether it's ministry or business or freaking basket weaving toad hairs, whatever it is, we are here to help you understand how social media can help you, because social media is a thing. This is a big, wide net outside of what your little house can do or your little church to do or your little business can do. And we have some really cool tips on how to get you guys to be able to join in and hop in on some little hacks and some tips to be able to use your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever to get you there. So Julie Kinne, let me see if we can get her on. Julie, are you here? Let's see. I want to add. Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Awesome. Okay, your invitation was sent. Julie. I have known Julie and her kiddos and her husband since like beginning of 2000s. So I know some of you guys know her very well too, and you've probably seen her very credible and awesome Facebooks and all of that. Can you guys hear me good? Good. All right. Hey, Jennifer, we have, and by the way, Jennifer and I are doing an interview next week, so you guys will want to stay with that. Okay. Julie, are you here? Let me see. I sent you an invitation. Let's see. Let's get you on. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Okay. Add. All right. Sent you another. Let's send good vibes to technology here tonight.
Hi.
Yay, it works. Awesome.
Yay.
Okay.
Can you can hear me okay?
I can. No echo. Awesome.
Wonderful.
So I was telling everybody that I have known you since, is it like mid-2000, beginning of 2000-ish? We were back in ministry for quite a while.
Back when we were like teenagers back then, right?
Oh,
is that
yeah,
right?
Of course. Yes. So yeah, back when we were 5 years old, 20 years ago. No, I'm just kidding. We actually met through a man that you guys may or may not have any knowledge of, but his name was John Paul Jackson, and we both worked together at different times with him and during the same time. He is now passed, and we still love him and honor him.
Yeah.
And we kind of circled around a lot of the same different people, Doug Addison and all the, Elijah List people over the years. And then when I got involved in business and doing the marketplace, there she was again. We were all kind of just paralleling in our track of what we were doing. And so now we are helping people remember their wealth and remember abundance. Yeah. And also health and divine health and just, the whole mind, body, spirit thing. And I was so happy to connect with her again because she's actually spent years and years, like several years and lots of time and lots of money, lots of investment, lots of energy into really, really, truly understanding marketing and how social media works and the inners and the outers of all the things that most of us don't even take time to go invest in and to learn. So, she has been someone that I have contacted here and there and been like, what do I do about this? Or what do I do with that? And she's always been super helpful with me and my marketing and my kind of presentation and or things. And I had asked her to do a class just for a smaller group of people. And originally, that was my intent, is just to have some people, kind of a leader thing. And then, I'm like, why am I thinking so small? We have this whole world of people that could all benefit from what she has taken so much time to glean and learn from. And so so what can I, all I can do is ask. And so I said, hey, what about this? and let's make it really, really big. Why not go big or go home? Or what I like to say is just stay home and go big. How about that? So,
right.
with social media, you can actually stay home and go big, and you can also travel and just be in your car. Like many of you have seen me do my van car classes, because I got to get away from the kids and the dogs and the cats and whatever, so you can actually hear me. But she said yes. So send her lots of good vibes and love for her taking time out here tonight to invest in all of you, just because she loves you and just because she loves me and just because she's awesome. But I say all this because I want you to really get the vibe of who she is. I want you to understand that I don't do partnership with people unless I know them, unless I love them, unless I know their character, their integrity, their heart. And her heart is to see people do well and to thrive in all areas of their life. So further than that, we're gonna kind of probably ask her some questions here tonight and pick her brain, and then she has some really cool things that she's going to share and bring to the table here tonight. But before we get going on the questions, can you just give us a little bit of your journey of maybe whatever I didn't fill in, to kind of give some people and some insight about what you and your kids, really your whole family, are doing right now?
All right. First off, Sharnael, it is such an honor to be able to partner with you and to have this time together, because like you've been such an influence, not only in my life, but just in the community that you lead. I know you're an amazing influence, and you've changed the way people think, the way they perceive themselves, just by loving them. And so I just wanted to say thank you. Like this is going to be fun tonight. So, all right. So I never dreamed I could have a laptop lifestyle. And people would say, oh, I have a laptop lifestyle. And I was like, it's not true. But it's true. It's totally true. You can have a laptop lifestyle. You can't have it as a hobby, meaning that you don't invest your time to get skill. So some level of skill so that you can grow and be productive in that arena. But it's totally true that you can, because as you know, my family is a bit of an adventure family. And so we've lived in Costa Rica, and we had a laptop lifestyle, and we've lived in California, and we actually live in Florida, but we moved to Texas for 2 months. I mean, you say it, we've probably lived there. And if it wasn't for my handy dandy purple laptop, I wouldn't be able to do it. So if anybody's just out there and they're thinking, man, can my business truly be a laptop lifestyle? The answer is absolutely yes, it can be. It's true.
Yes, and I've been following you for quite a while, and I keep saying this, and I know someone out there has whatever it takes to make this happen. You know where I'm going, right? She needs to have her own TV show. I check in with what they're doing because they're hilarious, because it's just, you guys should follow her. I'm going to have her put all her stuff on here, but her and her kids and their journey and their adventures as they go through all these things is absolutely a hoot. So yes, but yeah, tell us a little bit about what you're doing, because I know you're doing business, but I also know you absolutely love God. You're a God lover, and
yes,
you happen to get in this business vein through whatever investment and time and education that you're getting into. And what does that really look like? I know I saw one of your pictures when literally all of you guys are in the living room and everyone's on their phone or some sort of screen and everyone's working.
Right. Absolutely. Right. And so, if we don't want to get run over by the Gen Zs and the millennials, we're going to compete, right? We're going to come and play the game. And so, no, but we get together for family events, and we're all on our technology because we all work remotely. And so, but honestly, as you know, my husband and I have pastored, and it's our heart, and we've served in the church. But the reality is that through the process of just serving and getting to know people in leadership, we found that there's a real void, and that void is the ability to produce finances for the kingdom. Okay. And so we just said, you know what, we're done. We're committed to making extreme money so that we can give extremely. Because if you don't have abundance, you can't give abundance, right? And so we believe that God is a God of abundance. He wants to give us more than we can I do this here? Is this okay with you?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
mean to get all I don't mean to get all preachy on you, but God wants to give us more than we can ask or imagine. And so I tell people, what can you imagine? And then I want you to imagine more on top of that, right? And he says, I want you to feast like kings. And well, how does a king feast? I mean, we don't know any personally, but we can look at the queen over there in England. And I'm telling you, when she has a big event that night, the next morning, she's not going to the kitchen and saying, well, we're going to have another big event, but how can we repurpose some of these leftovers? Like, she's not doing that. She's not hanging on to every last drop of food or decoration. She's extravagant. And so we want to remember God is a God of extravagance. And so I was a stay-at-home mom and with a college degree, and I stayed home and I loved every minute of it, but I felt the call that I can't give abundantly out of nothing, right? In reference to finances. So I began to just start to connect with top 7 and 8 figure earners around the world. And I literally went to them and I said, hey, will you mentor me? Can I sit at your feet? Because I'm not doing this halfway, and I'm not going to try to piecemeal the solution together. Do you understand what I mean when I say piecemeal?
Yeah, like MacGyver, Frankenstein it.
Yeah, exactly, right? And so that's what sometimes sometimes people do that. I've done that where I go out and I'm like, well, I don't really want the real thing, so I'm going to grab a little here and I'm going to grab a little there, and because I don't want to invest myself too fully, because the moment we invest ourselves fully, we sometimes can allow fear to come in and then it scares us. So if we never commit, then we never have to say we failed, right? And so we always want to be a people who, like, if we believe God has called us to have business, well, then let's have business, right? Let's do some business. And so I sat at the feet, and I still do this. And of 7 and 8 figure earners, I literally fly all over just to sit with them. I had a 6-hour meeting in Los Angeles on Saturday, just this past Saturday. I flew 12 hours to have a 6-hour meeting because it's that important to know the latest trends. This industry, like any industry, if you were in the coffee industry, it's changing all the time, right? And so even in this industry, it's changing all the time. So I think it's really important to be connected to someone who's connected to what's going on, right? So I've done that. I've invested myself to get some skill, and it's been the wildest ride. I'm having amazing results, and I've made some mistakes along the way. May I tell one of my stories? Is that all right?
Tell me. Yes, that was going to be one of my
Okay.
questions, your $20,000 mistake.
Oh, let's just throw it out there. I've made a lot, but so one time I told 100,000 people that a baby threw up in my mouth, and it was an accident. I read it to say I had a baby throw up, like a little baby throw up in my mouth because I was overwhelmed. You know what I'm talking about, where you have like a little baby vomit? Yeah. No, everybody else read it as a baby threw up in my mouth. And I didn't realize that my coffee was incongruent. And so, yeah, but I made some kick butt money off of that, because people were messaging me like, excuse me, what do you mean a baby threw up in your mouth? And I was like, what do you mean a baby? No, like a baby throw up. And so, yeah. So the moral of the story is, you actually can't really, if you have the skill, you can't mess up, because people on social media, they want somebody who's real. They don't want somebody who's fake. And that's actually the real me. I'm a little bit goofy. I'm a little bit like, if you understand the color personalities, I'm totally a blue, but I'm also a red, right? And so I could be working really hard and be like, squirrel. So sometimes I throw my copy together too fast. I don't read it for what it is, but it doesn't matter, because the internet is actually very forgiving in the process. So
Yes.
Yeah, so you never know. So don't be afraid. Just do it, and we'll fix it later. We'll tweak what we got to tweak later.
Yeah, if anyone's ever read my copy, oh my God, don't even start. But yeah, so I know, just on an energy level, like you talking about going to meet with other people and whatever, we know that you know somebody and their personality based on talking to who the 5 people they hang out with. So,
Okay, yeah.
and there's with our biofield, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's actually code in the biofield. And so, whoever you're connecting with, whoever you're working with, whoever you're side by side, whoever you're sitting at their feet, whoever you're on these calls with, like whatever, it doesn't even have to be in person. You can have mentors that are on the phone or on a coaching thing or on an online thing or whatever. Now, is it better if you're sitting there having a Starbucks or sitting in the living room on the couch or whatever? Absolutely. And there's no time and space and all of that. So getting a coach, getting some help, investing your time, kicking butt and really studying, because it says study to show yourself approved.
Yeah.
I mean, a surgeon doesn't just show up and go, yeah, I'll try this. You know, I read about it in a book somewhere. I played operations.
And it was free.
You know.
Right? And it was free.
Yeah.
I got it from the book in the library.
Yeah,
Google
I
told
got the Operation game for Christmas, and you know, I think that's the funny bone right there, right? So there's something really to putting an investment in there, because it actually shows that you're accountable, that you're going to show that your value, that you yourself are valuable enough to invest in it. I know that on a business level, from the very beginning, you know, not having a whole lot of business background, I had a couple people who told me from the beginning, no matter what you do, you give whatever 10%, 20%, whatever you're deciding on to God, and then you put 20% back in the business, whether that's self-development or you know, classes or whatever it is, then you do that, and that's important. So I'm glad that you're doing that, and I'm especially glad because I'm your friend that we get to glean from this just by being in your biofield right here tonight. So tell us, I know some of the things that you said. You talked about discovering how to have a 30% greater influence over purchasing decisions. You talked about some other things about myths of getting stuck or whatever. Let's go through that a little bit.
Okay.
We got about 30 minutes to do that, but you go ahead.
Okay.
What is this thing about the 30 greater influence of purchasing decisions and celebrity stuff? I know, water, right? I missed that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay,
No,
so
good.
here's the deal. Social media is changing the way people are doing business. So we all have somebody somewhere that we follow. We call them an influencer. It could be the bucket list family who is running around and doing their, you know, travels all over the globe and just recording it, and we like tune in to watch it like it's a TV show, right? Or it could be, honestly, 15-year-old girls are getting huge influence, like 2 million people. I got a girl who had acne. She's like, I have acne. It's so horrible. Now she just launched her own product line from Australia, and my daughter bought from her because, oh my gosh, it's Sarah. She just launched a product line. So here's the deal. Influencers, because when they create a social media account, what they're doing is they create their account, they're posting something that is of value to their prospect. Their prospect is the person that they're trying to attract to their account, okay? And it's different for everybody. So they're trying to attract their prospect, and they're going to post content that creates that value. Now, when they grow up their following, right, based upon how many people follow them, which means they know them, they think they know them. It's all perceived, right? Social media allows us to create this perceived image so that people feel like they know us. They think they like us, and of course they're going to trust us. And so when you look at that, the rule says about 20% of the people who know you, like you, and trust you, it doesn't matter what business you're in, they will buy from you, right? Right? They're going to buy from you. So if you can grow up your following to 20,000 people, and you come up with something that you want to promote to them, right? And we teach you how to promote that in an effective way. But let's say you promote it, and let's say you're only making $10 off of each sale, which is so minimal. But for the sake of numbers, 20,000 followers, 20% will make that decision, which is 4,000 people times $10 each, $40,000. This is how you see social media people say, oh my gosh, I made like $100,000 this weekend because they know how to promote, right? They know how to use that following for influence. And it's no different. Like there was somebody we were following and they're like, oh my gosh, I have this fun little selfie stick and it's got our name on it. Would you like it? My gosh, those things sold out. Of course, everybody wants a selfie stick with the the influencer's name on it. Now, when the influencer has their social media account, the difference between an influencer and a celebrity is this. When a celebrity has their social media account, they are not getting on there and commenting back. They are untouchable. Okay. So you've seen it. Like Justin Bieber will say he's got his account, like 20,000 people will comment. There is nobody in Bieber's name going back and being like, hey, thanks for showing up, man. So appreciate you. Right. There's no appreciation. There's no connectivity. Right. It's this a celebrity entitlement. Right. And so, but influencers, they understand the value of what they're doing, and that is their lifeline. So an influencer will get on there and they'll respond, hey man, thanks so much for jumping on. I appreciate you. Things like that. And because that's happening with the influencer and not the celebrity, the influencer has a 3 times higher influence on purchasing decisions now because they are willing to connect with their followers and the celebrity is not, right? So what's happening is companies are not always going through the channels that they have typically gone through to promote their products. They're literally reaching out to influencers and saying, hey, like for example, the Bucket List family. Hey, Bucket List family, we're the Ritz-Carlton. Would you please stay in our hotels? Because we're going to fly you all over the globe in our private plane and put you up in the Ritz-Carlton if you will just say you're at the Ritz. And the Bucket List is like, yeah, I think I'll do that, right? So Disney does it for them. But even on a smaller scale, like if you're I know somebody, she's in her 50s, and she would just go stand out on her front porch every day, and she'd have her husband take like 20 pictures of her while she's in her little outfit. She'd post it, and that's all she would do, right? Well, now the lady's got like almost 10,000 followers, and you know what? Target sends her clothes, high-end companies sends her clothes, and they say, hey, here's a free outfit. Will you promote this? And by the way, we're going to pay you to promote it too. And so that is the value of understanding how to do social media influence. And so what's happening is a lot of people say, well, gosh, that's so easy. I can do that. And it is simple, but it's not as simple as throwing on an outfit and going stand on your front porch. There's like we act like, oh yeah, I always look like this. It's like whatever, but you don't understand what happened behind the scenes to actually get that and the legwork that it takes. And if you understood step by step by step, you could actually duplicate it, but you just don't know what you don't know, and it's not your fault.
Yeah, my daughter was about 15, 16 when she started her account. And I choose to know how many people have sent her clothes, have sent her like a teeth whitening kit, have sent her makeup, have sent her stuff. She has done coaching. She's 18, but she started like 16, 17 years old already as a brand ambassador for different companies. And they just keep sending her clothes and sending her stuff and I'm like, what are you doing now, entrepreneur? Like she's just, oh, now I'm doing coaching classes. Now I'm doing fitness things now, and so it's not, kids are catching on because not everybody wants to do a desk job from 9 to 5 anymore. If you can actually sit on your living room couch or wherever, your beach, your swimming pool, side of your swimming pool,
right,
or on your balcony in your front yard or whatever, and you can still collect, whether you're doing some sort of multi-marketing thing or you're doing a legit keto bakery business or
heck yeah,
or it could even be a ministry thing like we talked about, like church things, or using social media to get your message out about God's love or God's transforming you, or it's anything you choose. And so I love how you're talking about all this. talk to us a little bit about some of the myths that you had shared a little bit about getting stuck in or struggle and all of that.
Perfect. I made some notes so I could just make sure I hit them succinctly for us. Okay. But the first one is rejection has to be part of the process of being on social media. And you might think that rejection has to be a part of the process, but the reality is if you understood who your perfect prospect is, you're going to be able to minimize that, because when you target your perfect prospect, they actually will reach out to you. I don't care what your business is. It doesn't, like, I know somebody who's using this to establish church safety training, right? For churches, for higher levels of safety integration, right? And so they're doing this too, right? So you have to know your perfect prospect and then be able to speak their language, and you're not going to have that rejection. And I say that because so many people are afraid of being rejected because they've been rejected in the past, but you don't actually have to walk through that when you do it correctly. Okay. So the second myth is you have to be outgoing to do this. I am such an extrovert, but I am such an introvert, right? I love nothing more than sitting on my laptop behind a screen and like living my life. And I don't have to be outgoing because I recharge alone. And so I'm literally recharging all day long while I'm working. Like, it's amazing. And so, because when you know the steps to do to take you to success, you're not having to reach out to people. It's like, when was the last time you walked past a coffee shop and they ran out to you and they're like, hey, try my coffee. And you're like, I'm good today. I'm good. And they're like, okay, I'll call you on Friday. What's your number? You know, like they're not really doing that. And so we want to make sure that no matter what kind of business we have, that we're actually establishing ourselves like a real business so that people will take us seriously. And you don't actually have to be outgoing when you're just learning how to post strategically. That's the key. Posting content strategically to get your perfect prospect to take action. Okay. All right. Any questions before I move on?
That sounds good. I like it. Now you're making me want coffee. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. The third myth is I have to tell everybody what my business is, or I have to tell everybody what my product is, or they'll never buy from me. And the reality is that's not true. You might think that's true, but when you strategically learn how to brand yourself and the position that you want to hold, then you will be able to leverage off of that. So because you want people to know you, like you, and trust you. I mean, think about it. Why do you connect with certain people? Why do you buy from certain people? Because they're your person, right? You may not buy something because it's the best thing on the block. You might, but you're going to buy it if you think you know them, right? So the selfie stick that influencer was selling, was it the best selfie stick in the world? No, I could go to Walmart and get one, but I'm going to buy it from them because it's got their name on it. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 4. Joining groups is an effective way to get more people, right? So like if you're in ministry and you think, okay, I'm totally going to join this group, and like, just drop a hint, right? Like, come to our church. Like, I know some churches who are doing some things maybe ineffectively with their social media, and they're joining groups. They're trying to connect with people to get people to come to their services. And you don't have to do that. When you know your position, you know your authority, and you have all the tools, or at least enough tools in your tool belt that you can pull. Like, if you're going to do some construction, you don't want the hammer every time. You don't want the screwdriver every time. You don't want the saw every time. Same thing with network, or with social media marketing, is you really need to have the right tools at the right time. And if you knew the tools, you could use them, and you no longer have that, like, I'm desperate for people feeling, because you're like, I know who my prospect is. I know how to bring value. I know how to post so that they see the value. And now I don't have to spend my time chasing people, right? Does that make sense?
Yes,
All right.
they do. And it's true.
So,
They do come to you. They do come to me. Most of my entire business has been through the internet. I mean, just being straight honest, because yes, I do have friends and I live here, but you know my lifestyle for the last 17 years. I'm on the road continuously. I had been for 17, almost 20 years now. I stopped short about a year ago, but so there wasn't a lot of like real base community here. I think a lot of people think that when they watch me and my friends or whatever, and we're on all these pictures, that we're all like here in my backyard having this big barbecue, and that we're all just this big community. When they don't understand, like, we've driven far away to be together, or I've driven or flown somewhere to be with them. Like, these are all different places, and we all live far away. So you could be in the middle of Texas in the desert and have community and have a big, huge ministry and or business from your little living room. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
I'm
Sorry,
telling you, I live, no, it's so good because I live in Orlando, right? I'm like in this big city now, but I'm from the country, and I'm thinking I could go back to the country. Like, that's where my heart is, right? Let's go to the country. And I'm thinking I could do that and totally be effective. Like, you're absolutely right.
Awesome. Good stuff. I like it.
All right.
I like these myth busting.
All right, here, the final one. Social media marketers, and I touched on this a little bit earlier, they act like it just happens, right?
Yeah.
But I promise you, it doesn't. They act like they're just posting a picture of XYZ, but I'm going to tell you a lot of thought went into that, a lot of strategy went into that, and that picture is creating value for their perfect prospect so that they can connect with their prospect so that their prospect will respond to them. Right? So when they act, and we only recognize the social media influencer when they're influencing and they're large, right? We don't see the behind the scenes, how they had to get the skill, they had to figure it out. It was trial and error. It was this, it was that. And so do not believe a lie that's saying to you, well, it's just going to happen. If I just post a bunch of things, it's going to happen. Because even on Instagram, I mean, Instagram, God loves Instagram. So Instagram, it gives this image where you're like, just take a picture. It's going to be great. But what you don't realize, there's actually a brand to what's happening. Everything, there's a coloring that's happening.
Yeah.
There are now, it's trendy for filters to be applied, right? And in the filtering, it used to be bright colors. Now it's light and airy colors, right? And so if you don't know those trends and you don't realize that all those little boxes that are going across, they actually have to create a pattern of colors that are pleasant to the eye so that when somebody's rolling through it, you feel, I mean, it's insane what's happening on Instagram. You have to know which hashtags to use, but don't use the really, really large ones because Instagram doesn't like that. You really only need to use the hashtags that are about 100,000 to maybe 500,000. You don't want the ones that are 1 million because you get lost inside of it with your hashtags, right? So you don't want, and you don't want to use the same hashtags over and over because if you do, Instagram was like, oh, we're going to shadow ban you, right? And you don't want to use third-party integrators because Instagram doesn't like that. So you don't ever want to have a third-party integrator posting for you. I mean, there's all these little things that are happening behind the scenes. And I promise you, if you see a social media influencer with 1 million people or even 10,000 to 20,000, it didn't just happen. So don't stress it that you don't know what you don't know. It's okay. But now you have an opportunity to say, all right, what can I do so that I can start to know things so that I don't have to just assume it was easy, but I can actually do the skills and do the steps to take me to that success.
Yeah, I actually just completely redid my whole Instagram, and I did not realize until doing that whole process about the whole patterns and stories, and you only get one link, and how important it is to do the profile, and that you can't use hashtags ever, and how to even find which hashtags work for you and analytics. And
Right.
yeah, I mean, but I tell you what, when I made the shift, I got about 2,000 new followers just in a couple of months, and I had been at like,
See?
I don't know, less than 5,000 before that. But when I made that those little tiny shifts and tweaks, that all of a sudden was like this $2,000 person, well, dollars too probably, but 2,000 person in thing, and using stories and the differences between Facebook and not putting the same content as Facebook as Instagram, and making it different, because different people are on Facebook that aren't on Instagram. Different people are on Instagram that aren't on Facebook. And you're right. Facebook doesn't like YouTube, but Instagram likes it. There's all of these behind the things, and that's why I love that you're sharing some of this stuff, and that we can actually dive more into this too, because she does have an extra class that she's going to share about in a minute. But what other things can you share for tonight? Because we have about 5 more minutes here, maybe 5-10 minutes here. Have you got any more hacks, any more tips?
Yeah.
Anything that you can help us with, just someone maybe who's about midway in here and kind of gleaning in to figure out what we could do to get a larger following? What kind of things would you do just to start?
Okay, that's a great question. And are we taking questions if anybody types anything up, or would that be effective, or is that like
I do have
logistical?
one on here that says, is there a book or resource for Instagram? But we're going to get to that one. Someone said, where do you find the behind the things? We're going to talk about that too. So go ahead and answer that. And then if anything comes up, I'll bring you in.
Okay. So it's really interesting. There's this whole group of people who are like, Instagram is king. And we probably could have made that myth number 6. Instagram is actually not king. So it's interesting because it does attract more of the Gen Zers, the millennials. I get it. It does, right? But I'm telling you, the Gen Zers and the millennials don't actually have a lot of money right now to make purchases like we're looking for. And so they're still, trying to balance their budget and pay off their school debt. But there's 2 billion people on Facebook. All right. And there's at least half of that on Instagram. And you can't even do anything on Instagram without being on Facebook, because Facebook owns Instagram. Okay. So it's a fallacy to say, well, one is different than the other. One is picture based and the other is not. And I get it. Your grandma's on Facebook. I get it. Right. And she's, sharing and sharing and sharing. And I get it. But you don't have to target those people. Right. You actually can target. And it's interesting too, because Instagram is actually the United States doesn't have the largest user base of Instagram. Think about that. The largest user base of Instagram comes from Brazil. It's not even in the US. And so, even though it has a lot of people there, a lot of them are from Brazil. A lot of them are from other countries, and they're not from the United States. Now, I'm not saying write Instagram off. I'm just saying we need to put things into perspective so that we actually have a clear picture of what we're doing. Because with Facebook, I typically teach people how to do things on Facebook, and then they can take it anywhere they want to go, right? So why would you not learn with the largest platform? And the largest platform base of Facebook is in the United States, okay? So you're going to find a lot easier to have transactions happening in Facebook from the US than sometimes Instagram. Now, of course, influencers are rising up in Instagram. I get it. It's all good. But like you said, what we need to do is I'm going to talk about this, and you can use this for Facebook or you can use this for Instagram, but with this, you need to become a branded influencer, okay? So the first thing you need to think about is, how can I brand myself? Now, I know that goes against everything that you've ever probably been taught, but I'm telling you, you've got to brand yourself, because when you brand yourself, what you're saying is, hey, my brand is going to last until I don't last. So you could be an 80-year-old branded influencer, and I'm telling you, the Gen Zs are going to think you're stinking cute. Oh my gosh, look at that 80-year-old, right? Because we all follow the 65-year-old who's hanging out with the 20-year-old grandson doing really crazy things. And she's like, what the heck is that, right? And so she is a branded influencer. And so it doesn't matter how old you are, because your company, whatever company you have, you're not probably going to be with it when you're 85. Okay. You're not going to be, the company may change. Like you may, if you own the company, you may sell the company. If you're a part of like, I don't know, a network marketing company or a church, like things just change. It does. And if you think you're going to ride something for the next 80 years, 60 years, 20 years, you're like the person who says, I'm going to go get a job at GM and I'm going to stay there forever. Like it's not happening anymore. So we need to think differently. And we need to say, okay, I'm the brand. It's me. My brand personally is, as you can probably guess, I'm a little bit flamboyant. I got my little boss lady shirt on because I think it's fun, right? And I'm a little bit, but I'm serious. And when we teach, we're going to kick butt. So that's kind of my brand, right? But everybody is uniquely created in the image of God, and you've got your own personality. You've got your own little thing that you bring that makes you you. And that is you. That is your brand. Okay. So then I won't stay too long on that. The second thing is I've talked about this, your perfect prospect. If you think that your brand has been a gift, is a gift to everybody, well, you are right, but not in business. Okay. So in business, you have to go out and find your perfect prospect. Because if I think that my prospect is everybody that I'm talking to, everybody that I meet is perfect for my business, then what I'm really saying is the words that I use are either going to be so watered down so that it can fit the 60-year-old man and the 23-year-old girl and the 35-year-old mom and the 46-year-old divorced man. I'm going to water my words down so much to match everybody that nobody will know what I'm talking about. Okay. So when you think about your perfect prospect, what you're saying is, all right, who's my perfect person? Because everybody wants it to be everybody. They're like, this is my target market. But your perfect prospect is a person. Think about one person that you want to target. Because if it's the mom that's home with 3 kids and she's like, she can't function because the kids are little and she's just, she thought she was going to have a career, but now she's home with her kids. Your words to her are going to be way different than if you're talking to the 65-year-old retired man. And so you're going to use words exactly that. And when you use words that speak to the person that you're talking to, they're going to say, how does she know me? That's amazing. She's talking to me, right? And so that is understanding your perfect prospect is super, super important. Okay. The third thing, and we can go deeper if we have time, but you need to understand how to put these perfect prospects into a public incubator. All right. So if you have a church, that is like your incubator, right? If you have a business that's a brick and mortar, it's your incubator. It's where you're meeting prospects. You're meeting people who could become your customer, right? If you have a network marketing business, your incubator could be your living room, or it could be a telephone, or it could be a one-on-one in a coffee shop, right? So it doesn't matter. We all have incubators, but what I teach people to do is how to have it on a social platform so that's where your meetings take place. That's where you get to know each other. It's a safe place. And the great thing about social media is I actually don't have to respond right away. I can respond at the time that I need to respond. And they know that. And they're not like, oh my gosh, she didn't respond. She didn't answer her phone. She didn't answer her text message. They're like, oh yeah, it's social media. She'll get back to me. Even if it's tomorrow, they're like, yeah, whatever. Right? So how do you take them and meet them on a public incubator? But then you have to be able to integrate them into a private incubator. And the way that you do that is when you get your perfect prospect to raise their hand and say, hey, Sharnael, hey, can I just talk to you for a minute? And you're like, yeah, I'll talk to you, right? And so you take them and you put them into a private group. Like, no problem. Let me throw you in this private group here and we can connect over there on a more personal level, right? So how do you do that? So that's turning somebody from a prospect into a lead. A lead is somebody who's raised their hand and said, please help me, okay? In whatever form. Help me with the church. Help me with your whatever you have, okay? And the fourth thing is how to have that leverage, like how to actually leverage people into that private incubator, and then how do you keep in touch with these people without picking up the phone? And because what's happening right now is we're either trying to call people, right? And then and it's weird because in business, it's just weird. Like we have to call and be like, so how was the soccer game 4 weeks ago with your son? Did they win? Oh my gosh, no, really. And you spend like 10 minutes talking about something that has nothing to do with the reason that you called, only to find out that they're like, you know what? Can you call me in 2 weeks? And you think, sure, no problem, right? And so we've come up with a way to be able to connect with everybody with one stone. Like, what do they say? You can kill two birds with one stone. Well, you can kill, like, not kill, but you can connect with so many people with one time. How do you do that? And then the sixth thing or the fifth thing is when you're in this private incubator, what do you do with people? You got to keep speaking the language of your perfect prospect, but now you have permission to start talking about your product inside of this private incubator, right? So you can say we talked about the color personalities, remember the 4? And so how do you speak all the language of all the people inside of your private incubator so that they know you're still talking to them? And so that's really, really important that you speak their language inside of there. And you can do that through challenges and activities. And of course, the unit section of the group. You can do it all through those different ways.
Yeah. So run through the 4 personalities real quick, because I know you and I talked about that, but I don't think we mentioned it on the call, just for people.
Okay.
Like
so there's basically to keep it super simple, there's 4 color personalities. The red one, and we're just going to talk about the positive side of it. So a red person is somebody who's like, I'm going to win. And if you've talked to them about anything, right? If you're talking, like if you're in a coffee shop and they're walking in, you're going to be like, hey, are you having a good day? And they're going to be like, I want to blah, 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 blah. They don't even care if their day's good because they're there to do business, right? And so you can't be offended by that. You just got to recognize people are driven, right? And the second color personality is a green person who they like want to know so much information. And they walk into a coffee shop and they're like, okay, so what exactly is in that? Is that sugar-free? What kind of sugar is that? Is that vanilla from a beaver butt? Or is that like just real vanilla? You know what I'm saying? So like they just have to know information. They walk into your church and they're like, what are your bylaws? Do you have your system of beliefs? You know, they want to know everything. And then the next color would be yellow. And their response is more like, oh, it's all about people. Like, I feel so good in this coffee shop. Like, they make me feel good, and the people are so nice here. And for a church, they'd be like, oh my gosh, the people are just, I love the people. Can I help the people while I'm here, right? And if you're in a network marketing business, they're like, are we going to help people? Because we really need to help people. Like, that's why I'm going to do this, because I want to help people, right? So that's a yellow personality. And then you have the blue, which you probably can guess. I'm blue. And it's more like, okay, are we going to have fun? Because if we're going to have fun, I don't care how busy I am, I'm showing up, right? Or if you say to me, hey, Julie, do you want to move to Costa Rica in a week? And I'm like, yeah, and I do, right? I'm bringing the dog, I'm bringing my whole family. I call them all up, you want to go? And they're like, yeah, and we move. So that's the blue. And so but the reality is, if you have a presence on social media and you're only giving facts, and facts, you're actually only talking to green personalities. And people who are red like me, I look at that and I'm like baby throw up in my mouth. I can't take it, right? And I'm like, this is not fun. I'm not having fun. This is not fun. I'm not reading it, and I won't read it, right? But if you throw something funny up there, I'm totally going to stop and look at it. So those are the 4 colors.
That's good. I like that. I've thought a lot about that as far as business and working with other people and, of course, in your own family. But that is the actual, when I heard you talking about that, that's the first time I thought about having to use that in your presentation with what you're posting and with your brand. And
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I like how you just connected all that for me. That was a piece for me. And I know some of you guys got that too. So I don't know if any of you have any questions out there. We have like maybe 5 10 minutes tops while we're going. Everyone is kind of putting you go yellow, go green. I want all the green. I'm red. Red's where it's at. What else? Someone else put awesome information. Red, woot woot. So we got a lot of great feedback here. I encourage you guys to share and tag. This is really, really important that everyone get this out, because it is really good information and good, helpful information. And I'm sure you guys know some people who could really benefit from some of these tips that she shared with us. And I also want to let you know, if this has been good for you, and I know it has, that we're actually offering a real class, like a paid for class. And can you share us a little bit about what you're going to be sharing in this other class? It's a $47 class right now. And it is going to be kind of groupish. It's in a group that we're doing together. Tell us a little bit about what more things you're going to bring to this pile, so people can get even more into it, have a little bit of a community where we can talk to each other, have more private questions, have a little more intimacy. So if you have something specific that you need to ask to, that we can go into something on a personal level with you, but share some things that you're going to go into on this.
Perfect. Okay. So the $47 option, we like to look at it as, these are for people who are, you like to use the stairs when you go into the pool. So it's more of a taste test. You just want to get some training. You want to get some social media success training. Okay. And we're going to cover some training, and it's going to be for a 30-day cycle. And we're going to talk about things like your accelerated lead generating blueprint. Some of the things that I spoke about tonight, we're actually going to dive down further. We're going to talk about 5 ways to increase your sales. And we're going to talk about those 6 steps so that you can understand how to generate more leads and turn them into sales. Okay. You need to understand the overall concept, because this is the foundation of your business. So we're going to cover that. There's actually a worksheet that it's like a 6 or 7 page worksheet where it's a blueprint where you're going to really begin to dive into understanding, who are you talking to? Who is your perfect prospect? Because like I said, if you don't know, you're not going to have the right message. And if you don't have the right message, you're not going to connect with your people. And so we literally take you through step by step by step, so that you're going to know the language. You're going to know what they say. You're going to know why they say it. You're going to know their pain points, so that when you speak, they listen to you. Okay. We're also going to give you the 7 secret tools that high earners are using, and they're all free. It's crazy. One of my pet peeves is that people just don't tell people everything. And I hate that. I'm like, how can I expect you to find results if I don't tell you? So I'm like, here are all 7 tools that I actually use. They're all free. So we give you a list of that and what each one does for you. And then we've created an About Me blueprint. And this is really important, because people get really stuck on, well, how do I talk about me? Everybody who's an entrepreneur needs a blurb about me. And so do you talk in the first person? Do you talk in the third person? Do you add stories? Do you not? We literally write it down in 9 steps, how you can literally get some leverage and turn your About Me into something that people actually want to read. So that's the $47 thing for 30 days. Sharnael and I are going to be in this group together. We're going to be answering your questions. And I love groups because I love community, right? And so you'll be able to go on there and go through it at your pace. Okay. So that's the first thing. Did you want me to talk about the other one?
Yes, if you could, because I like choices. I love choices, and I'm more of the red. If you haven't ever, those of you who know me know that. So I'm a all or nothing. It's black or white. If there's no gray in me at all. So although I am getting a little gray, so we came up with having actually 2 choices. We went from having 1 choice, and then I'm like, no, let's have the go big or go home, or actually stay home and go big choice as well. So share us a little bit about the bigger option here.
Okay. And just so you know, this is why we're friends, because I'm like black and white and red, and I am right there with you. So this package is for people who are like, you know what, I'm done. I've tried everything. I actually don't know the skills. I don't know the step-by-steps. I need to know those step-by-steps. And you're the person who's like, I'm diving in. I don't know if you remember that song. I'm diving in, I'm going deep, right? And so this is for people who are like, and I created this because I took the best of the best from all of these different trainers and I put it together in something that's simplified, because we could make this incredibly complex, but it doesn't need to be in order to get results. So I really wanted it to be simplified. And we put this all into a different group that we're calling Social Media Success Now. And this is a group where we're letting people go through it step by step. And it's going to cover the first part. The $47 offer will be in there. Plus, you're going to learn how to set up your public incubator, how to do Facebook Lives. I actually give an example of me doing a Facebook Live because I'm a very I got to see it. I know you just told me, but I got to see it. And so you'll be able to see it because it's very strategic what I'm doing. The introduction, I'm not talking about myself, but I'm calling you because here's a freebie real quick. When you do a Facebook Live, most people aren't sitting there waiting for you to do a live. They really aren't. And so how do you stop somebody, the mom who's cooking food in her track, so she's like, I got to listen? How do you stop the mom or the dad who's like in the house with his family and the kids are fighting to stop and listen? And there's some skill to that and some technique. So I give those examples. You're also going to learn how to set up your private incubator. I give you a list of call to actions. Sharnael is amazing at the call to actions. If you don't know how to do a call to action, you should. And that is where you call people to action every single time. And there's a soft one and there's a hard one. And so I actually just opened up my vault of call to actions. And I'm like, take it. It's all, you can just have it, right? So you're going to get that. Facebook Live scripts. You're going to learn how to do a testimonial and a product review. It's very important in your private incubator to be able to do those. And then you're also going to get my top 10 posting strategies for success. Okay. So that's in the first section of this particular training. And then you're also going to learn how to take your leads and turn them into sales. So if you want Facebook or Instagram to recognize you as a business, there's actually a backside to Facebook. And you have to go into that backside and utilize it in order for Instagram and Facebook to recognize you. And so I literally walk you through step by step how to set that up. I teach you there's a campaign that you can set inside of Facebook, literally where I send it out and I attract the right people to me. And I get maybe 150, 200 people a week who reach out to me and say, hey, Julie, I want to follow you. So I'm growing. I mean, one month I attracted 800 people who are just like, hey, I want to be around you, right? And so they're all potential prospects because they match my perfect prospect worksheet, all right? So I teach you how to do that. I teach you exactly how to transfer people from your public to your private. I teach you exactly how to do that media blast where you're connecting with all those people with one blast, okay? And it's not just a post on your wall. There's actually a system that you have to use, but it's so simple. When you see it, you're going to be like, how is this so simple? I didn't even know it was there. So I'm going to teach you how to know if you're attracting of people. Remember I said where you send out your feelers to bring in your perfect prospect? I'm going to teach you how to know if it's working. So that's a module inside of there. I give you 100 words and phrases that sell. Because we are virtual and people don't get to see your head bob and your body move all the time, right? You have to know copy. So I'm going to just tell you what I use, some of my key phrases that work, okay? I'm also going to give you my daily mode of operation because I find that a lot of people, we want to work and we sit down to work and then we're like, I don't really know what to do. And the next thing you know, we're watching videos on social media, which we never meant to do. So you can actually integrate this once everything's set up about 37 minutes a day. You can literally keep things rolling in less than 37 minutes a day. So I'm going to tell you how to do that. And then I'm going to give you the exact challenges that we use so that you could use them inside of your private group to be able to connect. Remember, we talked about those 4 different ways to connect with people. I just tell you what I do. And they're fun. We do water challenges and moving challenges. And it's something that everybody can be a part of, right? You want everybody to be able to log in and not have to be like, I'm giving up, junk food I mean, I know you do that, but not everybody can do that. I mean, I don't eat sugar, but a lot of people, so they just don't participate. So, and we want the greater good to participate in our private groups. So we do things so that everybody's like, yeah, I can do it for 7 days, right? So so I teach you how to do that, and then I also teach about how to do a live interview and how to use interviews to grow your business and to get more sales. And how do you ask for the sale, like the exact scripts? This is what I say to people. So that's what comes in the social media success now system.
And that is a lot if you haven't figured that out, whether you're doing the basic or the micro or the big old one there is. I can tell you they're going to help. These are basic tools. And believe me, this is a splash. This is a drop in the bucket of investment compared to the thousands and thousands and thousands that she has paid to invest in her own life, traveling the world, literally to be with all of the top experts, to glean this information to bring back to us, for you to be able to get, for whatever choice that you go with, to be able to get this information and then just apply the easy steps. The big thing is not just investing, but actually using the information and applying it on a daily.
Right.
Even if it is 37 minutes a day, do it. Actually do it. Just take one or two things and apply it, and you're going to see some tweaks. Even when I was telling you that I had just did a reboot on my Facebook, or an upgrade on my Instagram, I should say, I didn't do it all in a day. You know, I just took one thing here, worked on that a couple of days, then I worked on this other thing, and then I got this app 2 days later, and I incubated a little bit more, understood a little bit more, and I kept on going. And it just happened like over about a week or two. But I'm telling you, when I did those things, oh my gosh, like I said, that shifted to 2,000 more people following me, which is, I just like people, and it's really cool, and I get to help them because I got a lot of yellow in me. It came from a ministry background. I'm also super red. So when I'm using some of the techniques that she showed me, just by me being around her and learning some of these things and using stories or using different posts or using whatever things, do you know how many classes and different, I should say, I'm not embarrassed. I'm going to tell you that just in a week's time of me finishing what was doing it, I had sold over 100 classes. 100 classes.
Wow.
When before I hadn't sold 100 classes in like 3 or 4 months. So I'm telling you that it really does work, and it really does pay, even though it's, you know, an investment. And look, I like classes because I like teaching, but I really love classes because I love teaching people about how to have better health, how to use muscle testing, how to use keto, because all of the classes that I'm going to teach are going to be having to do with transforming you, including this. This is going to transform you too. I love social media because it's a great way for us to help you guys learn these basic skills to shift whatever it is that your call and your destiny has to do with. Whatever it is. Like you may have an air conditioner service, or you may, I don't know, like my daughter, like I said, she's 16, 17, now she's 18 years old, but she's done lots of this on social media. And again, I live in a very small town, you guys, a super small town. And compared to Orlando, oh my gosh, really small town. And also, it would be really super cool to go back home and live in Montana, where it was even smaller, trust me. And yet, we have the freedom to not only move, but to do pretty much anything. Like, I'm going this weekend to do some stuff. I'm going next weekend to do some stuff. As long as I have my phone, I can still do these steps. I can still apply. I can still upgrade. I can still shift some things and get more people. And that also changes my influence. So it's really, to me, for me, being a red, but also having a lot of yellow and a little bit of blue and a lot of green, too, to be that research person, because I am a researcher. It's fun for me to connect with people. And part of my redness is that I choose to impact the whole world. You know, I love God and I love the church, but I really, really choose to have the whole world. Just like God, He's got the whole world in His hands. I'm not saying I'm God, but I'd like to affect the whole world. And so when you have social media and you apply these these steps from what she's teaching, whether it's the first one or the second one, you guys, I'm telling you, it's big. It's really big. You could be big just by applying these things. So jump in. The link is here on the post right here. You can even look at the two different things. That one link will bring you to both options. Really look into it. Make a choice. I will be in both groups. I'll be able to connect with you more. Julie will be there. I'm sure her kids are there. And oh my gosh, she's got brilliant kids who do brilliant things. Talk about millennials, and beautiful millennials, by the way, like literally pageant queens who really know how to do this. But do you have any final words here before anything last minute that you choose to say? You know, please do tag and share, because even if this isn't for you, maybe this is for your mom or your daughter or your grandma. You're choosing to get them into social media and remembering, or your husband or your dog sister's uncle's cousin. Like, there are people who this is going to be for them if it's not for you, right? So do you have any final things to say before we skedaddle here tonight? I don't want to take all your time forever.
Well, no, it's so good because I tell you, I'm like you, like I'm taking over the world. And so I'm doing it through social media because I want to influence people for good and not evil. And it's interesting because my company is expanding in the Philippines, right? So I put out a campaign to the Philippines. Are you kidding me? And so I'm literally connected with like a couple thousand Filipinos, and because I'm warming them up to bring them in. And so you're absolutely right. With social media, you can impact anybody, anywhere. And I forgot to mention that because I honor you and because I just so appreciate your influence in my life and where I am right now because of our relationship, I've created a special discount code that's just for you and your community. So I hate to talk prices, but you'll see I give 50% off this whole the full system, the complete system. I'm actually giving it to you and your community for 50% off up through tomorrow evening. And so if that's something that somebody really wanted to do, they're going to want to take action on it sooner rather than later. And there's like a 20-day money-back guarantee if they wanted it, and they can get into the community. They can start going through the process. I know you're going to love it because we get nothing but great reviews from it. So, but I just want to say thank you because, and that's my way to do it. It's just to be a blessing to your community. So, oh, and one more thing, we're going to do for the first 6 weeks. I'm so invested in helping you in your community, and I don't normally do this, but I'm going to do a live Zoom every single week starting next week for the next 6 weeks. So anybody who comes into that complete system is going to want to have access to that. They can ask their questions if they can't come to it, and I'll answer it. And then that will be sent out. That link will be sent out to everybody via an email so that people can we really want to make sure that you get results fast. And so it's our way to be able to make sure that we're there for you and supporting you live weekly with a Q&A. So you can literally see me and we can just work through this together.
So this discount code, just to be clear, did they need to type anything in, or should I post something in the post if we'll have that?
Yeah, you probably should post it. It's your name, Sharnael, and then no space, the number 200. So Sharnael 200.
Sharnael, no space, 200. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to put that, you guys, in the comments and in the post too, so you guys have that. So you have that discount code, because actually Janaea is on here right now going, oh, you forgot about that. Okay, so there's an actual coupon code or number, right? And
she's amazing, isn't she?
That's really big. That's huge to have 50% off. Oh my gosh. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, you're amazing. And I just wanted to give back because you've given so much. And so, but it's only good. I'm telling you, it's automatic. This thing will, because it's social media, it will turn off at midnight tomorrow and it will no longer be effective. So if you're like, I'm just going to wait till Saturday.
That's the 8th. That is March the 8th, because today's the 7th. I'm looking at my thing, just so you guys hear me.
Okay.
That's tomorrow night at midnight. You're saying that we have this opportunity, yes?
Yes, that is right.
Awesome. Okay. All right,
So,
guys. Well,
yeah.
thank
And
you
this,
so
this
much.
6-week thing, just so you know, the 6-week thing, I probably won't be doing it again. So if you want my help personally, definitely get it now, because I'll be out there like on live, just like this, talking to seeing all your little pretty faces. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much from my heart for all of
thank
you,
you.
all who you are, everything you're doing on the planet for so many people. Love to your husband, your kiddos, and all your
Love you
awesome
too.
people over there. And have a great night. Thank you again. And you guys jump in on this opportunity. I appreciate your time here tonight, and definitely tag and share some people. If you have any more questions, pop them up here. I'll see what we can do. Otherwise, I'm going to see you guys in the group, and that's where we're really going to connect and have some fun. All right?
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
We're going to do some
all
red
right?
kick butt stuff in that group. Right?
Yes,
Bye.
we're going to get some results. All right.
Yes, we
Talk to
are.
you soon.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.